Tae-yong, and the producer, Mo, and also music director. And I'm not sure we are ready for this, but we are supposed to have director Tae-yong Kim, who is joining us from Beijing in China. Unfortunately, he couldn't travel because of some health issue, but he was eager to join us from Beijing. But are we ready?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, wow. I'm asking the crew. I think we need some time. Producer Mo. Oh, yeah. While the crew member is connecting to Zoom, I think we can start our Q&A because we don't have much time. I know some of you have to go to New Jersey. You have to cross the Hudson River, so right? Okay, so we can start our Q&A. Okay, now I will start with your questions. So you may have some questions about the film Crossroads of Youth, or the Byeonsa production and the restoration of the film. You may have some interesting questions. So instead of me talking all the time, I'm going to give you the chances to ask the speakers here your questions. So if you have any questions, please raise your hand. Don't be shy. You're not going to have this opportunity anymore, right? So please raise your hand. Can I see some hand? Yeah, okay. Okay, so yeah. Oh, thank you. I now can see you. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi. 안녕하세요. What is it? I don't know if this kind of applies to the whole production process, right? But kind of a question that you brought up of how do you know what to bring out? I mean, this was in 1930 after having it restored and everything. Like, how do you know how much of it to bring back out? Like the dialogue, it seems like that would get lost in translation over 90 years, right? Like how do you get all of that back, I guess?
Thank you very much. My name is Mo. 그 질문하신 거에 말씀을 드리면 사실 이 남아있던 것은 딱 안정화 감독이 남긴 줄거리 두 줄만이 남아있었습니다.
And what I saw on the left was two lines written by the director An Jong-hwa. The short synopsis, that was all.
그리고 맨 처음에 사실 영화가 발견이 됐을 때 이 영화가 이 청춘의 십자가인지조차 저희는 알 수는 없었습니다.
When this film was first discovered, we didn't even know what this film was.
왜냐하면 필름 펜에 아리랑이라는 영화가 있어서 그 아리랑은 잘 아시겠지만 한국에서 반드시 찾아야 할 잃어버린 영화 중에 한 편이었었죠.
There were some marks written on the photo pens, but one of the titles was Arirang. So they were very surprised because Arirang was one of the holy grails in Korean cinema. It was of course lost. So, but they got confused.
예. 하지만 정말 불행하게도 혹은 다른 의미로 행운이게도 그 아리랑은 아니었지만 이 영화를 이제 그 남아있는 필름 그 스틸과 한 장 한 장 비교해 보면서 이 청춘의 십자로라는 그 영화라는 것을 이제 알게 됐었습니다.
So unfortunately, it was not Arirang, but it was Crossroads Crossroads of Youth, which was also a great film. So after developing the film, they got some still images, and they got some images from the archive, and they compared them. And they could confirm that it was the Crossroads of Youth.
허드슨을 불러서 오셨습니다.
Can you see Tae-yong Kim, director Tae-yong Kim?
Yes.
Can you give a round of applause? Okay, we are going to continue our discussion, but since we have Tae-yong Kim on the screen, since we can lose connection at any time, it might be better for us to hear from Tae-yong Kim. What do you think?
Yes.
Okay. So, do you have any question for director Tae-yong Kim? Anyone? There was yeah, go ahead.
I just want to know what exactly the process is for directing a silent film. Like, what would the process be for directing?
김태용 감독님 들으셨나요? 질문? I think the audio is not working. Hope we can get back him soon, but we cannot get it. Once again, the technology is amazing, but put us in a very awkward situation. So we will continue our conversation. So when it was the film cans were developed. They could get some still images, and they got some photos in the archive, and they compared them, and they eventually could confirm that the film was Crossroads of Youth from 1934.
저희가 2008년부터 같이 계시는 조이봉 변사님과 같이 이제 합류를 하면서 이 작업을 시작을 하게 됐는데요. 그 영화를 처음에는 정말 이 영화가 그 순서도 제대로 알 수가 없었어요. 그리고 주인공들도 사실 저희가 이 세 분의 여주인공분들의 얼굴조차도 누가 누구인지도 알 수 없었던 그런 상태를 한 달 동안 지속이 됐었습니다.
So when the film was finally restored in 2008, the director Tae-yong Kim started the project of restoration of the film's narration. So that's when he won't show our Byeonsa, great Byeonsa. But for the first months, the restoration team couldn't recognize could not recognize the faces of three actresses. They looked kind of similar, and they didn't have enough information about the old actresses in the 1930s.
한 달 동안 영화를 보고 또 보고 하면서 딱 단서를 얻었던 시작이 됐던 단어가 딱 한 장면이 있었는데요. 바로 그 장면이 그 장면이었죠.
So after watching the same film hundreds of times over the first months, eventually they could got some clues. The first clue was Oppa from Shin Ye-sun, the actress who plays Young here. So many of you actually laughed at the scene, right? But that was one of the first clues.
그때부터 이제 인물의 관계를 알게 되면서 저희가 한 줄 한 줄 영화를 보면서 한 줄 한 줄씩 이제 글을 써나가기 시작을 했고요. 그 과정에는 지금 저희 이제 변사 조희봉 배우님께서도 굉장히 많이 참여를 하시고 대부분 많은 이 라인들을 또 만드셨었어요. 그래서 그 과정을 또 한번 들어보는 것도 좋을 것 같습니다.
So after figuring out who is who in the casting, Byeonsa started creating the script line by line. So he had to work a lot to figure out what this character says, what that character says. But once again, there was no script. There was no subtitles, there was no text in this silent film, unlike the Western films. Western silent films all have intertitles, subtitles, but the Korean silent films didn't have anything, no text at all. So Byeonsa had to imagine many lines, but it was really great, right?
Yes.
So, could you talk a little more about how we created lines and their dialogues?
한 1분을 만드는데 8시간 정도
It took almost 8 hours to make 1 minute long dialogue in the beginning.
근데 그것이 초보니까
And there was a first draft, and he had to revise the draft multiple times to get here.
사람들이 그렇게 똑같이 생긴 줄 몰랐어요.
He hadn't realized that people look so alike, until then.
이 영화를 발견을 했을 때 무성 영화를 그대로 보여주는 거는 쉬웠지만 이제
I cannot see the stage.
Okay, yes. But you can hear us, right? 감독님, 저희 목소리는 들리시죠?
네네 들립니다. 네 들립니다. 소리를 들립니다.
그러면은 그 아까 처음에 했던 질문, why do I speak? So we're gonna go back to the question she raised, right? Can you say that question again?
Oh, I just wanted to know what does the job of directing a silent film entail? Like how do you direct it?
Okay, so 그 감독님 그 질문을 이렇게 전달을 해드리자면 처음에 찾으실 때 그 영화를 찾았다고 소식을 듣고 여기 그거를 이제 복원하시기로 마음을 먹고 복원을 하시기까지 그 과정들이 어떠했는지 좀 궁금해하는 것 같아요. 그 선생님이 찾았을 때 이 영화에 대해서 이렇게 투자하고 싶다는 생각이 드셨던 이유나 그다음에 이거를 이렇게 복원하는 과정에서 뭐가 이렇게 많이 신경이 쓰였고 뭐가 힘들었고 그랬던 거를 좀 얘기를 해주시면 좋을 것 같습니다.
네 일단 제가 보이지는 않는데 지금 저는 보이시나요?
네.
보입니다.
네, 일단 앞서서 그 모은영 선생님이 얘기해 주셨을 것 같은데 처음에 모은영 선생님한테 전화를 받고 그 필름을 다시 상영하기로 결정한 뒤에 그 필름을 수백 번을 이제 조희봉 변사님하고 같이 돌려보면서 이야기를 만드는 과정이 제일 어려웠습니다.
Yeah, so he said he got a call from producer Mo, and he learned about the discovery of this film, but the process of restoration was really difficult. He had to watch this film, hundreds of times together with Byeonsa Hee-bong-jo, and so that was the beginning.
제가 연출한 영화를 편집할 때도 그렇게 수백 번 돌려보진 않습니다.
So he he doesn't watch his own films 100 times, even when he is editing his own film. But he did that for this film.
그런데 다행히 이 작품을 만들고 저희 부모님이 제가 한 영화 중에 제일 좋아하는 영화가 됐습니다.
So after doing the restoration of this film, his parents really liked it, and this film became his parents' best film, not director Kim Tae-yong's films.
그래서 저희 부모님은 지금도 저한테 무성 영화를 만들라고 하십니다. 왜 무성 영화를 만드냐고.
So his parents tell him to make silent films instead of copies.
그래서 제일 어려웠던 지점은 이 영화가 편집이 완성되지 않은 필름으로 완성돼 있은 그 필름 발견된 필름이니까 지금 현대적인 감각으로는 편집에서 없어야 될 것 같은 장면도 이유가 있을 거다 생각해서 그 모든 필름을 사용하려고 했었습니다.
So when this film was discovered, it was not edited. So it was a original negative film prior to editing. So the scenes were not neatly organized. So the director director Tae-yong had to figure out which one comes first, which one comes next. His goal was including as many scenes as possible, so he didn't want to waste any scene or any sequence. So he tried to put all the things together and creating some story, so some story that is understandable.
그리고 그 박천희 작곡가가 이 영화를 또 같이 수십 번을 돌려보면서 음악을 만드는데도 어려웠습니다.
So the composer was Chun Park. When he composed the musical scores for this movie, Tae-yong, the director Tae-yong, also had to watch this film with the composer multiple times. So he had to watch the same film many times with Byeonsa, Hee-bong-cho, composer Chun Park.
그래서 이게 1930년대의 상영 방식을 재현하지만 가장 컨템퍼러리한 관객들과 소통하는 방식에 대해서 조이병 본사와 박철희 작곡가와 이 문영 선생님하고 그 얘기를 제일 많이 했습니다.
So what is the most important concern for the restoration team was that while this film was a 1934 film, the Byeonsa performance will communicate with the audience in the present. So how to meet the audience in the present with a film from the 1930s. That was the biggest question. That was the biggest concern for the restoration team. Yeah. So, do you have any other question? Yeah. Okay. Maybe in the back first, and then you can go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So, first, thank you. So, I would like to ask, since you have directed both vocal and voiceless film, is there differences that you have encountered while doing a voiceless? Or have you encountered some advantages or disadvantages of directing a voiceless compared to the voice film?
Oh, you mean the silent film?
Oh,
and,
yeah, silent film. And just
the film
ordinary
with sound,
film.
right? 김태형 감독님, 예. 간단하게 질문을 제가 이제 정확히 이해는 모르지만 간단하게 얘기를 하자면. 그 사일런트 필름을 하실 때하고 그냥 이렇게 음향이 그 사운드트랙이 들어간 영화를 할 때 어떤 차이점이나 뭐 이렇게 그런 것들이 가장 크게 느껴지셨던 거 이런 거가 있으면 좀 얘기 좀 해달라는 것 같습니다.
일단 기본적으로 이 영화는 이제 제가 연출한 작품이 아니라 이 발견한 필름을 가지고 연출을 한 거기 때문에 찍을 때 상황을 제가 깊이 있게 알 수는 없을 것 같습니다.
So this is not a film directed by him. So he, honestly, he doesn't know the entire situation when where this film was made.
근데 상상을 해보면 옛날에는 무성 영화가 이야기를 전달하는 방식은 이미지와 사운드의 결합을 통해서 더 많이 생각을 했을 텐데 사운드가 배제된 상태에서 이 비주얼 이미지만 가지고 이야기를 전달하는 방식에 대해서 지금 현대 영화는 많이 달랐을 거라고 생각합니다.
So normally the narrative in film is based on the combination of the images and sounds. That's what the contemporary directors have in their mind when they make a film. But in the silent era, the filmmakers were solely dependent on the images. So I think that the filmmaking styles must have been quite different.
근데 잘 아시겠지만 미국이나 유럽이나 그 밖에 러시아나 그 무성영화 시대의 무성영화랑 이 아시아에서 만들어졌던 이 무성영화는 다릅니다. 한국, 일본, 중국을 중심으로 만들어졌던 이 변사라는 존재가를 아예 상정하고 무성영화를 찍었던 거와 이 유럽이나 미국에서 찍어왔던 무성영화는 크게 다릅니다.
So there is also a big difference between Western silent films and East Asian silent films because the Western silent films didn't think about the film narrator. So everything was incorporated into the film itself. The film has subtitles and the intertitles. There was no narrator, but in many cases, the East Asian filmmakers had to think about narrators first when they had to make the film. So the Byeonsa was a big factor for how to make films in the silent era in East Asia, including in Korea.
이 작품을 처음 발견하고 한국의 지금 그 코리안 서브 오페라가 이렇게 시작됐구나라는 걸 느낄 수 있었습니다.
So this film was a great resource because the director Kim Tae-yong could figure out how Korean silent cinema started. So this was a valuable source for figuring out what the Korean silent films were like, how Korean silent films started. Yeah, okay. So there was one more question. Since we don't have much time, we can take one more question for Director Kim because I want to give one question to our music director. Music is very important in this production. Right? So, could you please ask your question?
Sure. The question is, since this movie was made in the 1930s under Japanese colonization, I didn't see much traces of Japan or Japanese rule in this movie at all. Was that unusual, or was it more implicit in the movie itself?
Okay. 감독님께 질문을 드리는 거였는데요. 여기 이제 이게 1930년대 만들어진 영화인데 그때가 이제 일제 시대고 근데 그런 폴리티컬 코멘터리가 약간 이렇게 중화돼 있다고 그러나 그런 게 좀 없는 것 같이 보였는데 이게 임플리시트하게 그냥 은밀하게 들어가 있었던 건지 아니면 이게 시대상이 정치적인 그 시대의 정치적인 어떤 그 분위기가 영화에 녹아 있었는지 그러면 그게 뭐였는지 그런 거에 대해서 좀 궁금해하는 것 같습니다. 좀 얘기를 해주시면 감사하겠습니다.
제가 질문을 잘 이해했는지 모르겠는데 아마도 그 모년 선생님이 더 잘 아실 것 같은데 그 전에 이제 한국 1920년대 아리랑이라는 1926년에 만들어진 아리랑이라는 영화로 민족적인 어떤 것이 영화에 담길 수 있다는 것이 그 당시에 사람들에게 계속 제일 큰 의미였던 것 같습니다.
Even though there was no direct political references in this film, the Korean cinema was had subtle references or subtle commentary on political situation. Of course, there was no real explicit political statement made in this film, but there is definitely some subtle commentary about the political and social situation probably here. Yeah.
그래서 30년, 20년대에 그런 영화들이 있었다고 우리는 기록을 알고 있고 30년대에 넘어와서 가장 중요한 것은 그 계급적인 갈등이 아니었을까 미리 추측해 볼 수 있습니다.
In the 1930s, this film tells that, proves that even in the 1930s, Korean society was experiencing the class struggles. So you can see the distinction between the privileged and unprivileged, the city and the rural areas. So director Tae-yong Kim said the questions like class struggles are definitely unmistakable in this film.
그게 아마 제가 질문을 이해했는지 모르겠는데 그게 아마 이 영화가 담고 있는 영화의 내러티브 밑에 담겨 있는 그 사회의 모습 중에 가장 큰 것이 아니었을까 추측해 볼 수 있습니다.
So probably the most prominent social issue in this film would be the class struggle or the class gap here. That's what that was his comment, right? Okay, so do you have any questions for the music director? Okay, there are two. So yeah, go ahead.
Oh, actually, I just wanted to ask: is there like a reason for you to choose such instruments, or is like a reason beyond of choosing like the 4 instruments?
악기 구성을 이렇게 한 이유가 있는데 지금 4가지를 했는데요. 특별히 뭐 이렇게 악기 중에 이런 게 정말 중요했다. 30년대를 재구성하는데 이런 게 중요했다. 이런 거에
네, 우선 이 악기들은 사실은 이제 웨스턴 이제 뮤지컬에서 또 많이 쓰는 편성이죠. 근데 사실 이 지금 바이올린, 피아노, 아코디언, 그다음에 컨트라베이스가 있는데 사실 이 악기를 가지고 저희 작품과 만났을 때 사실 이게 어떻게 보면 이제 30년대 영화에 있는 그런 어떤 문화의 음악적 그런 구성들을 담아낸다고 했을 때는 아코디온이라고 하는 악기가 사실은 실제로 그 당시에도 굉장히 많이 쓰였었고 사실 이 모든 악기들이 어떻게 보면 이 작품과 맞는 약간 좀 특수한 어떤 한국적인 문법과도 만나가지고 뭔가 이 작품 완성도가 좀 더해지지 않았을까라고 생각합니다. 가령 이를테면 박자나 이런 것들도 사실은 막 이렇게 병박자라고 하거든요. 그래서 4분의 4박자로 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷으로 가는 게 아니라 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 5박자를 기본으로 하는 곡들도 있고요. 네, 죄송합니다.
Okay, so before show, I asked him to say one sentence and pause, so that I can translate his sentence. But this happened. But anyway, so let me summarize his talk. So he said, first of all, the accordion was very important because even in the 1930s, accordion was very popular. It was very common, so including accordion was important. But when he included keyboard, contrabass, and the violin, he tried to imitate the 1930s sound instead of getting the sounds from the Western musical instrument. And I'm not a musician and I'm not a professional translator, so I cannot. I'm really sorry to translate the rhythm 1, 2, 3, 4. Not this one, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know how to translate it. Yeah. So okay. Can you say a little more?
네, 뭐 그런 이제 리듬에 관한 부분과 그다음에 이제 멜로디컬한 선율에 관한 부분들이 이제 어떻게 보면 동양에서 많이 쓰는 약간 모음계 같은 것들을 좀 많이 쓰여진 것 같다는 생각을 많이 했습니다.
So the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This rhythm is Eastern or Oriental. So he wanted to include this rhythm in the melody. That's how he created these musical scores. So in a nutshell, he tried to create the feeling of the 1930s sound or the 1930s musical landscape. Did I interpret it? Okay, I did my job. So yeah, I think it's really time to conclude our event today, and I think I have to give the closing remark. I really thank you all for coming tonight. I said this in this program booklet, but I meant it. I mean, we discovered Crossroads of Youth. It has become a treasure in South Korea. But the film was not truly discovered until it was restored as a Byeonsa performance, because silent film, was not perfect, was not complete without a Byeonsa narration, right? But think about Byeonsa. Byeonsa means nothing without the audience, right? Byeonsa cannot exist without the audience, you. So I think you added the final touch to the restoration of the Byeonsa culture and Byeonsa tradition. So that's why I'm really grateful to you.